Another week and another day of Rocket League to enjoy. Welcome to the NECC with myself, Relic, with him, Pyro J, the lovely Grissom, on production for today. And Pyro J, it's the same as always, right? We've got loads of different divisions, loads of different players, but at the core of it all is some excellent Rocket League fun.
Absolutely, and we're into the Emergence Atlantic division here as well. So, we've got those emerging players, the next to take the scene, grasp it by the heart, and take it for what it's worth. So, 3 matches on dock for today, Relic. Happy to be doing it beside you.
It's a pleasure is all mine, believe me, and I'm sure the pleasure will be all yours at home as well as you enjoy. Let's take a look at the full schedule, at least most of the schedule for today. Of course, we've got the 3 matches, as mentioned by Pyro J, coming up before we have a 4th match. After that, King's College Gold, NJCU Gothic Knight series. Of course, we've got UAB Gold and Cumberland White in between that, and our first series of the day, we'll get to the 4th series in due time. Clark Red and JWU White. And you rightly say, these are emergents, and so these are the lowest tier of competition in regards to not their competitiveness, but where they sit in the overall ranked leaderboards. With Emergence, we're looking at anywhere between gold to platinum, maybe some diamonds in there as well. And although some might look at that and scoff and think, oh, no musty flicks, no flip resets. Well, sometimes we do get flip resets. Sometimes they're very pretty, and sometimes the chaos is an entertainment in of itself.
And it's a show, as you said, Relic. Listen, I spent the first 2 years casting Rocket League in this scene, in this space right here. And the reason I kept going, the reason I was so fired up is because it is truly these players that bring the entertainment forward. We don't need flip reset double taps for that. We just need good competitive action. So that's what I'm expecting out of these teams, out of these players. We do have a 3-2 Clark Red versus an 0-3, reportedly JW White, with maybe another game not on record quite yet. So a lot of mystery, Relic, to be had yet for these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the weeks are coming thick and fast, aren't they? Already at this stage, you pretty much know whether you're in that promotional battle or whether you are in the sort of mid-pack, just looking to consolidate your position, or indeed whether you're down the bottom of the table. And if you are JWU White, JWU White, that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Maybe we should just call them Johnson and Wales, as their university is. They've had a bit of a rough time, haven't they? Not winning a single game, and it's worth reminding everyone that, yes, they're on 0-3, but they're also in week 6, and so 2 of these matches have been rescheduled, or rather one of them has been rescheduled, one of them we don't actually know the result of, and so up until this stage they are still technically winless, at least from our knowledge.
Yeah, it is a little like that. Listen, they did have a match where it was 2-3. It went to game 5. It went to the last leg, so we know that these players from Johnson and Wales University do have what it takes to take it all the way down the stretch. And like, just out of curiosity, if it's JWU, is that just JWU?
That is a question way beyond my pay grade, and I will not be answering until I have some absolute certainty behind me. What I do have certainty behind is that Jack Plox is a previous NECC winner. Now, because he finds himself in the Emergence in Rocket League, one would presume that either his team has helped him remain in Emergence and he won a division last season, or he is, perhaps more impressively, won in a different game. Which to me is always fascinating, because I think with a lot of esports athletes out there who are making this as their careers, they have one game and they stick to one game, just as you would have regular sports people. But just like regular sports broadcasts, I'm afraid that we're going to be taking a technical break as well. So hold on to your horses, be sure to hydrate, be sure to get back here in a few minutes or so. Once these are resolved, we will be back with more Rocket League action. Okay, that was a bit of a longer break than we were hoping for, but welcome back to the NECC, where sadly our first series ends in forfeit, but hopefully our next 3 series end in excitement. My name Relic, his name Pyro. We got the lovely Grissom bringing you all of the pretty pictures, and although we missed out on the Emergence, we now move into a second match of Emergence, and so we can once again talk about the potential of Chaos Theory at its finest.
Yes, we're headed from the Atlantic to the southeast of this Emergence Conference, which you have to love to see still, because we were hyping up these players, these teams, the caliber that they bring, no matter the rank, whether it's professional or to this level, the emergency amateur level, it is still some of the best and honestly the most fun action that we could ask for. So 4 matches were slated for today, Relic, but that first one being forfeited, we're going to start off with our second.
Yeah, and that second is going to be UAB Gold, or the University of Alabama at Birmingham, not Birmingham and Alabama. Anyway, they got a lot of teams. We're seeing their gold one today. Alongside the Cumberland Phoenix White team. No prizes for guessing that that's Cumberland University, by the way. And both of these teams, Pyro, they find themselves on 3 and 2. So we were talking about how it's midway through the season now. Yeah. Some teams are going to be looking to push on for promotion. For these two, it's all about that consolidation with maybe a shot at the playoffs.
It's an interesting time to be in right now if you're 3 and 2, right? You're feeling convinced of your team, you're feeling confident, but when you know you're headed up against the caliber of a team that is right at the same level as you, it asks a lot from your team. So both sitting here at 3 and 2. It's a winning record, but one game gone the wrong way can suddenly put you in a different spot.
And it's interesting looking at the order of these wins and losses, by the way. We tend to look at recent form over the last 3 games, or last 3 series, I should say, just to see where these two teams are. And for UAB Gold, it could not be going any better. 2 3-0 sweeps on the bounce. That following a 3-1 defeat to the A-State Red Wolves. Again, at least picking up a game despite the fact that they lost. And technically, the Cumberland Phoenix White, they do have 3 wins on the bounce themselves. They've had a 3-1 against Murray State Blue, a 3-2 against EKU Maroon, and a 3-2 against UNA Grey. Their only loss, apart from week 1, which was a sweep, by the way, against them, was the most recent week, week 5, where they forfeited. And so, although it is a loss registered, they didn't lose on the field. Therefore, I would like to conclude, this is my conclusion, be sure to judge my essay or my TED Talk after this, I believe that they're in good form as well. So actually, it should be leading to an excellent series.
Well, we'll consider your hypothesis and analysis and what will become of the conclusion of this scientific experiment here of this match. But I couldn't agree more. Yeah, considering it's a forfeit loss there from that second squad of Cumberland White, I think maybe they could be considered the favorites here. You can't always decide, though, Relic, until we get to that match, right?
Yes, indeed. And before we get into the match, I'm rather hoping that ourselves and production are on the same wavelength here, because I get the impression that the swimming pool is fresh, and I like to dive in to the lineups if we wouldn't be so minding, because we have some interesting lineups. 1 team of 5, 1 team of 4. Of course, the substitutes are available to be used. It will be 3 going onto the pitch. We're not menaces here, but we have UAB Gold with Zachariah, Dr. Slime, Alpha Shack, Bing, and Nacers, and we've got ourselves 4 juniors and a freshman. The most interesting fact I can bring out from this team is Alpha Shack, who apparently can eat 3 hot dogs in one sitting, which I don't know if that's impressive for college standards nowadays, but back in my day, I mean, you're looking at maybe 4 or 5, slacking, I feel.
I have to agree with you, Relic. I mean, listen, I'm expecting one of the players to say can eat 3 hot dogs in one sitting, and the next one to one up them with 4. I feel like why broadcast a Rocket League competition when we could be broadcasting potentially a hot dog eating contest? That's all right. 3 is still respectable. Hey, and plus, that's just not the only fact. You got Nassers, who's flexing a soccer high school state championship for the varsity soccer team back in 2020. So can those skills on the real pitch translate to the digital pitch, Relic? Maybe.
I'm interested now in what position they played, though. Are they a forward? Are they a midfield menace? Are they a rock at the back? Are they a goalkeeper? Will we see their position on the field for soccer translate into the car soccers. We'll wait and see. And then the final fact to really round out this UAB squad is Dr. Slime, whose interesting fact is that he has played one Switch. Salute you, sir. That is brave to do. But perhaps even braver is what we see Cumberland Phoenix White doing, which is not sharing any facts whatsoever. We know what school year they're in. We know that the majority of them are doing business or business. Does anyone know what the difference between business and business admin is? Like one of them training to be a boss and the other one training to work underneath the boss, or is it more of a macro state of things?
That is interesting. Imagine getting paired in a group project where it's 3 business majors and 1 business administration major.
Right.
And he's there managing and saying, yes, you do A, B, C, and I will enjoy the grade that we get at the end of the project. I'm not sure, really. I'm not sure how that goes. Either way, I'm sure they're wonderful businessmen and businesswomen. You do have one of the business players, Young Bell. Their interesting fact is that they have a shiny Ditto tattoo. Okay, see, now listen, Relic. Okay, that shows the commitment to gaming right there. Okay, this player right here undeniably has etched into their own skin their drive, their commitment truly to gaming, to Pokemon, Rocket League, whatever it is. That's commitment. That spells victory to me.
Was that Carbell or Young Bell?
That is Young Bell. I have it.
Where I don't see this on my Cumberland Phoenix roster anyway. I see Chris Comet, see you Anonymous, Carbell, and Teacup. So I don't know where this Young Bell has.
I have a Young Bell
from.
as the final row here. Yes, a mysterious Young Bell, Connor Bellinger, sophomore in business. Yeah, who knows about the mysterious? Listen, this is the
not
thing,
on my
like,
sheet.
with these large rosters, you don't know who's gonna show up, right? So maybe
true.
we see a Young Bell, maybe we see Car Bell, maybe we don't see any bells for Cumberland. We have to wait until we get to the pitch.
Yeah, we do. And while we are waiting to get to the pitch, let us give you a reminder briefly of the series that we're expecting to see after this as well. Of course, we sort of teased you with the prospect of King's College Gold up against the New Jersey City University Gothic Knights. That's a mouthful. They are in the, here we go, Appalachia Emergence. Is that the correct way to say that?
Appalachia,
okay. Right? I mean, am I right, folks? It's certainly not like I'm British and I say, like, I don't know, Birmingham, and they're like, it's Birmingham. But let's also, is Birmingham going to be on? Okay, well, it's not Birmingham. I was hoping that we'd have, like, we do have Alabama Birmingham at least in this series, but the final series that we're going to have is actually, yes, it is the. I think they might have changed, actually. I thought we were going to get some champions, but it looks like it's Emergence all the way through today with the Central Methodist Eagles going up against Baker University, it looks like. So we have word, finally, Pyro, that we do have one team on the pitch. We have one team ready to go. We just need that second team, and we can finally get some Rocket League gameplay underway.
Well, Relic, I mean, we have one team, and then you have you, me, and a couple producers on the back end. So worst comes to worst, we've got a Rocket League show. We have 3 other people that have the game installed. I'm not going to speak to my own talents, okay? I'm not going to say whether or not that I may be competitive on that pitch or not. Relic, I don't know what you could say about yourself and your standards for Rocket League.
I mean, I used to play. That's I am much more behind the Rocket League, I guess in front of the controller, I guess you would say, rather than behind it nowadays. So I like to
run
watch
it. I'm reading in the chat right now. They say run it. So hey, listen, I'm opening the application now. No. So listen, we're excited to see both teams out here. We're excited to get 2 teams that are 3-2, guys. We are at the level of this competition where we're either going to have a team that is breaking out with these wins like you have with University of Alabama at Birmingham, coming off of 2 sweeps. This is potentially another sweep for them. Maybe they hit their stride. Maybe midway through this season they realize that, okay, we see how these shining bells and whistles can work together and really take out the competition. That could be the case. Or you have Cumberland University just upheaving the entire plot that this UAB Gold is coming in with. You really never know. That's the beauty of this Emergence conference. And Relic, I do truly want both of these teams on the field here today, because that's going to be a great match.
I agree entirely. In fact, I was going to invite you to disagree with me should you feel so free, but I certainly look at these two teams both with 3-2 records, and when you are at this mid stage in the season, you've kind of had a taste of it all. You've had a taste of sweeps both for and against you, against you in the case of Cumberland Phoenix, and for you twice, of course, with the University of Alabama. And both of these teams, they've tasted victory, they've tasted loss. And that tells me that these are teams that should be prepared for the mental side of the game should things start to get out of hand early. I mean, I'm looking at these records and I'm thinking, unless there is a really bad day at the office or a sensational day at the office, maybe a bit of both, surely this is one of those series that guaranteed a game 4. Hopefully looking at a game 5. And okay, we're going to take a little deep dive once again into the lineups with UAB Gold starting us off, just to refresh our memories as to these players. So yeah, I think that honestly, looking at both these sides, this has all the hallmarks of a great series. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't give us a great set of games.
I think it does, most certainly. And listen, let's look at the lineups themselves, okay? UAB Gold, as we said, coming in with 5 players on their roster. We've got 4 juniors and a freshman, but we will take them second. How about Cumberland first? Instead, we'll take a look at that unit first. Chris Comet, Anonymous, and Carr Bell. 2 seniors and a freshman. I love this lineup, Relic, because we've got the old stand-ins, but always in Rocket League, always in esports. We're looking at the young bloods. We're looking at the new guns to show up the rest of the squad.
And as we talked about earlier, it's all business, baby. These guys, they got their suits on, they got their attire ready. They're ready to stroll into the pitch and hopefully put down some business deals that earns them some all-important dubs. But of course, UAB Gold, they are making dubs for fun in recent times. As we take a little look at this University of Alabama at Birmingham squad, they come away from the last couple of weeks with 2-3 O's. And to be fair to them, even in the 2 series which they have lost, they've still managed to pick up 1 game from each of those series. So that is a team that goes down fighting, I should say. They are not going to make any series easy. It's why I think we are guaranteed a game 4, simply by virtue of, if we do see UAB Gold on the rough side of the coin going into this series, maybe looking towards game 3, game 4, they haven't been swept yet. They've got a real steal about them.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case right now for both of these teams right now. They have long series that either go to game 5 or go to game 4, and they're ready to fight, hard nose into each match. Do we have, though, UAB as well in the lineup for UAB Gold? We most certainly do. All right, that's the team I was looking for. Zachariah, Dr. Slime, and Nasser's. Unfortunately, not Alpha Jack on this initial lineup. Our 3 hot dog eating, contestant here. But we have a junior, and a freshman. Another upperclassman and freshman combination. These 2 teams, Relic, they share a lot of similarities.
I agree. Not just in the scoreline, of course, but in their youth, in their enthusiasm, I feel. They've got substitute options off the bench as well, should they want to switch it up. We've already seen over these last 5 weeks or so a lot of different ideas employed. Some use substitutes because they feel like, hey, we're on the back foot here, we need to change something up, quite literally, not even with the car, but with the personnel on the field. Some like to use substitutes and to throw them into the field just to help them gain a bit of experience. Well, finally, today we get to experience some Rocket League in action. In the blue, it's UAB Gold, and in the gold, it's the Cumberland Phoenix White squad. And finally, Pyro G, finally some Rocket League on our screens.
Oh, yes. And look at that. Dr. Slime is getting things started for UAB Gold as well. His fact in the note sheet was, I have played once. as we said earlier. So with that flick beating the defender, you know what? I believe it. Great control on the ball so far. We'll see if that UAB squad can exhibit that control as far as the series length goes, and even standing so far in game number 1.
So we're going to have that backboard hit here, and eventually that ball's going to fly into the midfield. Very difficult to see actually who is who, as there's unfortunately no name tags on at the moment. Hopefully we'll get that rectified sooner rather than later. See you Anonymous, we realize that he's on this backboard, however, and they've defended pretty well, pretty admirably at the moment, the Phoenix. There we go, lovely. Thank you very much to our wonderful production, of course, on the backboard. Make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible as Dr. Slime smoothly strolling into the enemy box. Doesn't find anything there, and is once again in the midfield.
To the midfield, indeed it goes. We'll see who really has that midfield control as the series goes on. I've seen a lot of Rocket League teams excel by throwing in those passes straight into the infield, straight into their opponent's box, rather than coming around this corner, which is what UAB Gold was doing. Now they're going to take a shot already at the goal line, firing away, trying to get something to go. Cumberland, though, sturdy on their goal line. Anonymous. It is a loft of a touch, but he's still there to follow it up. And I will say, Cumberland Phoenix, they're looking very resilient on their goal line as they turn away shot after shot.
Looking resilient, but they don't seem to have many knives. It's only spoons at the moment, trying to bat away these shots and pepperings of the net. I think UAB Gold have spent the majority of time in this middle part of the pitch, rather than even going as far back as their own side. They're picking up 100 boosts really successfully as well, and this is maybe the breakthrough that Cumberland Phoenix are looking for here. They're into the blue half.
And shots are being fired away at this point in time. Chris Comet hoping to get a good angle off the side wall, almost on target. All of the defenders from UAB Gold swarming on that play, not giving any breathing room right now to Cumberland Phoenix on their first, what appeared to be an advantageous possession. Zachariah and that B1 decal even got the reset on that aerial. Couldn't use it for anything too useful, but a little bit of mechanics showing for these players. Off of the backboard, follow-up shot. There's the mechanics for Zachariah, leaping up to the shot and scoring the opening goal.
Oh, a bit of watching the fireworks here as they were looking up and not looking what was on the horizon. Zachariah, I love these offensive rotations, by the way, from UAB Gold. It's why they've held so much possession further up the field in comparison to the Cumberland Phoenix. It felt like only a matter of time as to when they were going to score, not a matter of if they were going to score. That's a well-deserved 1-0 lead.
Couldn't agree more. You know, we have both of these teams here at 3-2 in terms of their record, but it does already appear as if there's a favorite, the possession being dominated right now by UAB Gold. How can Cumberland Phoenix turn this around? Right now it is Anonymous. Solid touch off the backboard. Could even read this follow, but the shot is going to go by the wayside. They're starting to get their chances to percolate. Oh, this ball going across the base of the goal line once again. Will the finisher be taken? No. Carbell to the corner once again. Cumberland Phoenix again have to walk away with nothing.
The best offensive spell from the Cumberland Phoenix. Maybe we should put a bit of a stop on that. Oh, it's a great individual play up until the moment where you've got to put the ball into the back of the net. Carbell, that's as close as the Phoenix have come. They once again arrived forward in numbers, but still no joy.
Not at all. Not until now. Carbell, there's the finishing touch. The bell has indeed been rung. Relic, this also felt like a matter of time given the last 30 seconds and what we've seen out of Phoenix.
Yeah, your worry is that because they've not shown too much offensive impetus up until this point, do they actually have the chops once they get into that final third? I'm so glad to say that yes, they do, but they might immediately all come to naught as not just one, but two shots ricochet off the backboard. Oh, UAB Gold so close to a go-ahead goal once immediately.
Oh, that double tap just would have been so clean, so perfect to wrap up this game or get closer to that finish line for UAB Gold in order for them to regain that lead. But instead, they've got to go these next 30 seconds with their nose to the grindstone. It is now or never, potentially, in game number 1 for someone to take the win. Dr. Slime, a high pass off of the backboard. And you know what? Cumberland Phoenix, they can take their time with the clear. Nobody from UAB Gold wants to strike quite yet. yet. There's Anonymous with a top shot sent away by Dr. Slime. Once again, Carbell hoping to continue the rotation as the ball tracks back down to the midfield. There's a high shot, a banger there from Zachariah. 2 goals on the board for this player for UAB Gold, and just in time.
Oh, see you, Anonymous. You simply had to go for that challenge. You were so far forward the moment you turned away, the moment you decided, no, it's not worth the gamble. That's the moment where you lost the gamble. And UAB Gold, they're given one opportunity. They make it count. They take game number 1, unless we see a full court carry still possible. Dr. Slime, that's into the ground. That's 1-0 gold.
Not gonna lie, you scared me a little bit there, Relic. As soon as you started calling it, we were getting that ball down the other side of the court. And we know how lovely this game of Rocket League can be with its surprises. But no, indeed, it is UAB Gold to get that first win. Relic, I'm looking at this Cumberland Phoenix squad, and I'm saying there's a little bit of slowness on the defensive side. We saw the clears come out much later than expected. That last challenge that you mentioned didn't come in quickly enough, so the shots get a reach there. It feels like Cumberland Phoenix needs to take the tempo, the pace up just a little bit to match that of UAB.
I mean, their defense was solid, was strong for the first 2 minutes or so, Pyro. And so I agree with you. It was slow, but only in comparison to when UAB started to speed up their offensive rotation. As soon as they started to do that and to become a little more creative, that's when we saw the wooden floor starting to creak underneath Cumberland. And look, we see them score a goal themselves. Arguably should have gone 2-1 up themselves as well. This is a close series, and perhaps that rust is just being shaken off. Remember, they forfeited their game just a week ago, so they're coming in a little less fresh than their opponents.
A little less fresh with that forfeit. I completely agree. We look at that whole record before the forfeit, it was 3 wins. So they had that momentum moving into this. But yeah, now a little bit on the back foot. We do see a goal from this team. We do see a 1-point game, so close to overtime. So I would say, as it stands, Relic, we're pretty close to what we were expecting out of this matchup. A very evenly matched one. So game number 2 with immediate chances for Cumberland Phoenix is on deck. UAB Gold have a chance to win this one and get match point.
And Carbell has an open net there. And we already spoke about Carbell before having a great opportunity. But Dr. Slime makes their own opportunity. As they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. No apples consumed on this side of the field.
Massive 50-50 here from Dr. Slime, and you see who's that player assisting it. It is Zacharias. That is it. Zachariah, 100% goal participation so far from that player with the first 2 goals and now the assist. You cannot deny Zachariah a massive hand in the success so far from UAB Gold as they get this game started right.
And that's going to really be painful for Cumberland Phoenix. Although they are going to win a challenge here in the midfield through Carbell. Seems to me the most dangerous of the players. Just got to get that shooting accuracy down. And not just the shooting accuracy, but the conversion rate, really. I feel there are way more goals than this Cumberland Phoenix side are showing. And there are still 4 minutes left, so plenty of time to rectify that.
Most certainly. Dr. Slime, lots of time with this ball. And again, massive on the 50-50s. We have a team bump there for Cumberland Phoenix. Opening up the shooting lane for Zachariah. Cannot find it between the posts, though. We talk about the resiliency of this Cumberland Phoenix team. It is not only against their opponents, but themselves that they're able to recover on 4 wheels and get that defense back intact. Right now they need to sky up to this shot. Nassers has that 2nd goal now for UAB.
And that's lovely from Nassers. Sees that CU Anonymous is in a really difficult position on that backboard. You've got to get that touch away perfectly, either straight to one of your fellow defenders or off to the side where it's not going to threaten that net. Because Nasser reads the situation well and sees that CU Anonymous is in trouble, immediately on their bike, finds that shot on target, and that's where you got a 2-0 lead.
Will it extend already? Nasser's in a great position to take a shot, but Carbell does get a piece of that pie and sends it away. Cumberland Phoenix, can they find their footing in this series once again? Or has UAB Gold started to run away with it? Zachariah does put the ball to the corner. Dr. Slime off the wall, seemingly giving the ball away. Zachariah, always behind the ball, always ready for that next touch. Just a force to be reckoned with, just a nuisance right now for Cumberland Phoenix as they look to take the ball to the other end.
The only nuisance I feel for the Phoenix at the moment is there seems to be some static on the comm lines. Nobody is communicating well. That's a great save from CU Anonymous. Excellent read. That's straight back on target, though. And Nassers is going to make it 3. I tell you what, Phoenix, they are struggling in defense, and that's dangerous because, Pyro, that was their strongest element in game number 1.
It most certainly was until it started breaking down as the game speed went up. Talked about that, and we talked about miscommunication on defense. That double commit led to the goal line being wide open. UAB Gold and their striking power. They're going to take advantage of those moments every time. Zachariah trying to be even more of a nuisance than he could be. Looking for the goal line bumps and demolitions, and he's not a nuisance enough. The touch comes on the goal line, but Chris Comet's shot wins out.
You need magical forces to move a comet, and this trajectory was always on target. There were a bunch of flubs from a lot of players, and once again, Chaos Theory proves true. Phoenix have themselves a lifeline, but are they going to be able to capitalize on it?
Certainly got half the game still left to do just that, and maybe that goal can open up some confidence, maybe a little momentum for this team to work off of. Carbell very quick to that ball. This sky had passed a couple defenders, but Dr. Slime looking for a long clear as UAB Gold tried to collapse upon that play. Taken across the width of the field. Massive shot here from Anonymous. It's on target. It's on the goal line, and it will land in. Cumberland Phoenix are making their comeback in swift course.
It's a kitchen sink through the window, and oh, Dr. Slime does read it. Just gets a bit of a ghost touch. I think he's going to be pretty aggrieved at that one because he reads the trajectory really well. But that's now the second looping shot that has ended up in the back of the UAB Gold net. They're going to be so frustrated that they've let this 3-goal lead slip to just 1.
And it could slip to an even standing here. Cumberland Phoenix, yeah, a nice shot from the wall. It showcases their striking power. I mean, that was coming in like a heat seeker ball. And the defender, not even a touch, could limit the force of it. Chris Comet, can he come back with that same force? Not quite yet. The touch doesn't come there, but the boost steal does. And depleting the resources, UAB Gold could win out in their favor. Comet, that's a missed touch. Anonymous has to swing around for this ball. Dr. Slime beats him to it. Nasser's ready for the shot. He's going to tack on another tally here. Hat trick for Nassers.
At this point, all tactical plans are out the window. Everyone's not having a good day. And if everyone's not having a good day, you got to count on those mistakes. Once again, Nasser seeing there are problems in this Cumberland Phoenix defense. It's an individual mistake on this occasion, but he still makes the run, anticipating that potential near post shot. Pays off, doesn't it? 4-2.
Well, certainly does. Nasser's a player to watch right now for UAB Gold because, as you said, even with the opposition in the way, still wants to take the shot. Speaking of take the shot, oh my, ringing off the crossbar there is one from Cumberland Phoenix, or just a little bit higher. If that crossbar is just a little bit higher, maybe that shot does go Bardowski in, but Cumberland Phoenix, they're going to have to look for more opportunities, maybe like this one. Anonymous trying to thread the needle between defenders, can't find it. Chris Comet, not the better on that 50-50. Carbell racing back to this ball to beat Nassers to it. It kicks off the backboard. Follow from Slime is good. UAB Gold, they found their sequence once again.
Both teams trying to counter-attack. They're trying to roll with the punches, but that slow defense that you picked up on from game number 1, it comes back to bite them yet again after having their own counter-attack repelled. Charlotte Phoenix stumbling with 2 back in time, but not in the right position to defend, and that 3-goal lead becomes a 1-goal lead, becomes a 3-goal lead once again.
Will it mainstay here? 30 seconds, a tall hill to climb here for Cumberland Phoenix, and they lose this. They're at the risk of having to reverse sweep their opponent. Such a difficult task to achieve for. They may have to be up against that battle indeed. The ball resting on the ground there. A few seconds go by without anybody touching it. Cumberland Phoenix back on the ball though. There's a shot. Rings right off of the right post. The left post, excuse me. It doesn't matter. The shot's not in. The times trickle down to triple zeros. UAB Gold find a second win.
If you're Cumberland Phoenix, good news, you doubled your goal tally. Bad news, you just shipped 5 goals. And not all of them were pretty. And to be fair, looking at the goals that were scored by Cumberland Phoenix, you're kind of like, sussy eyes looking over at that UAB goal defense and thinking, could you have done a bit better? Well, the answer is yes. But, that's kind of where you show your stuff on the other side of the pitch. And that's where UAB Gold steps up to the plate. They ride the storm well. They've got a ship strong enough to navigate it. And they head on to match point scenario now, potentially looking at their 3rd consecutive 3-0 sweep in 3 weeks.
Wow. That would be quite the momentous streak, I would say. You would be Gold in fantastic form for that. But Cumberland Phoenix, I can't help but to agree with you, Relic. Some of their shots were contested on the goal line. Actually, both of them were, but they still went in. The shots were, they were quick enough. So maybe that's part of the solution there for Cumberland Phoenix. Not only get as many opportunities for scoring as you possibly can, since the defenses of the day haven't shown up as much as they could have, but also make those shots really hard. The momentum of the goal line defenders just isn't there to bat away a shot that's maybe over 50 miles per hour, even a little more. So get a dodge in that ball and bury it. That could be the solution, but after losing 2 games, it is going to be quite the contest to get back in this series. Potentially 3 games to go, but match point here for UAB Gold as we hop right into Game 3.
Shot conversion, for my money, is the most important thing when it comes to Collegiate Rocket League. And straight off the rip, look at that. Cumberland Phoenix, they win a kickoff. Oh, he's a little bit ahead of the play, Zachariah. Chris Comet just leaves off a little bit, finds that early goal. This is the first time that Cumberland Phoenix actually lead a game. Now can they hold it? They've still got the lion's share of the entire 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, that is a difficult task indeed. Maybe they could extend the lead. I thought Chris Comet had a line in for a read off the backboard, but offensive pressure is something that they were able to maintain, but one single air dribble can erode your entire performance. Zachariah cleans up on a beautiful play from Nassers.
He almost gives Anonymous the free save there, goes straight into his path, but thankfully slows down just enough to be able to go to the left of that strafing run rather than straight into the car itself. That's a real shame because Cumberland Phoenix didn't need to be that aggressive, especially with that early lead. And immediately we see UAB Gold now firing on all cylinders, looking for that go-ahead goal.
Right, it's got to be heartbreaking here to have a lead to work with for a matter of a few seconds, but ample time to earn it back. Nassers, though, definitely a dangerous player to have given that space with the ball. It's smart to quickly challenge and take that ball away, steal possession. Cumberland Phoenix have done exactly that. Anonymous beating Dr. Slime on that 50-50. We asked Cumberland Phoenix to stand up to the test and get the pace moving a little quicker. No. They've done that on some challenges, but on this one, it gets right by them.
Oh, look away, children. Oh, look away. It's a nice handoff. This is actually, we talked about lack of communication in the defense of Cumberland Phoenix. That's great communication from UAB Gold in the air. The call to say, listen, they're expecting you to take this shot. Let me take it. And it does enough to weave its way through defenders.
Honestly, we see that at the top levels of Rocket League. I watch version 1 all the time, and Calm will come out of nowhere and just strip the ball of a air dribbling beast mode and surprise all the defenders. It's like, oh, now I'm taking the shot. No one expected the shot line. Here's one coming out from Anonymous. That one, unfortunately, taken wide, but it could be some of the surprise plays like that of Chris Comet to double jump the ball above 2 defenders that will take their opposition off the mark.
Surprise plays is a very nice way to put it, I think. This would be a surprisingly good play if they were able to find the mark there. Oh, a challenge one in midfield. That's towards the net. Oh my goodness, what a save in the net there. That was easily 2-2.
It was, but look at that. UAB Gold will not have it. They've regained their lead, one they haven't had since the last game, the previous to this, but they are looking to maintain that lead now. Nassers, who has been instrumental in the offensive sequence for UAB Gold, is going to make a wonderful clear there. Dr. Slime hounding the defenders of Cumberland Phoenix as well. Look at him still, supersonic through the midfield. I think he may still be chasing some Phoenix members here. And maybe that disruption could play a factor, but Carbell double jump on the goal line.
No way!
Unbelievable! Zachariah, the last to touch it to deny the shot.
Carbell, oh, how close do you want to get without actually scoring a goal today? That's my new question to you, because that was pretty darn close to scoring the goal. All they had to do was get one little extra touch on it, and you're talking about 2-2. Oh, it might be the dagger in the back, Pyro. That's the sort of confidence killer as we head into the last 2 minutes.
Soul crushing, the only way to describe it, and maybe even similar on that shot that was wide open. Dr. Slime just off the mark. The ever elusive open net in Rocket League. One of the most difficult things to come up against, to challenge yourself in this game. No doubt about it. However, Cumberland Phoenix, after not getting the goal from the ball that was 80% the way through the goal line, they are here for revenge. They want that second goal. They feel like they've earned it already. They just need to tack on another tally on the scoreboard. Can they do it in a minute 30?
Okay, they're bringing out the demos. I like that. They're trying to unsettle UAB Gold in whatever way they can. This one is not over yet, not by a long shot. UAB Gold, they've started to find their shots a little bit wayward as well. They don't have that daylight goal advantage with a 3-1 scoreline. That's ideally what they want. That's a great challenge won by Carbell, but no one's willing to follow it up.
Okay, Cumberland Phoenix, they need to follow up on the defense now. Anonymous, he's able to bat that away to the side wall. Less dangerous position where UAB Gold could typically strike from the midfield. Yes, it's a 1-point game, but at any point in time, we have learned that UAB Gold, they can find a goal. And how about it? Who other than Nassers to get a great read from his backboard touch and land in another goal?
Yep, he's the actor. He's been given the script. He has been so good at reading how these plays are going to develop, which again, sometimes you can give a little too much respect to your opponent. Nassers, no respect whatsoever. Once again, expecting the mistake, and it benefits his team once more, though. That said, that's a great cherry pick. Even better save from Dr. Slime.
Oh, and now Carbell is feeling useless almost, because that is a valuable shot to take that still doesn't land in. Cumberland Phoenix, they need to bring out all the stops here for the final moments. Game number 3. Dr. Slime from the backboard. This one can put it away, and put it away he does. A massive explosion for the 4th goal at Zachariah.
Wait for it. Doink. That is lovely placement, and here we were thinking surely a game 4 guaranteed, but UAB Gold have just continued to go up into higher and higher gears. There I was saying, hey, your shooting's gone a bit wayward. They fix it immediately, looking for a 5th even. UAB Gold going up onto 4-2.
And will it be 4-2 on the final score here for game number 3? Cumberland Phoenix looking for a last little touch, a last little tap, maybe something to walk away with. And that's not gonna happen. 2 shot takers, but too many cooks in the kitchen. Chris Comet, nice maneuvering, keeping this ball alive, but only for a moment longer. Dr. Slime, Nassers, and Zachariah are your winners. UAB Gold in sweeping fashion for the victory.
I'm going to run with the analogy as well, because I think that the kitchen metaphor is one that this Cumberland Phoenix squad can go away and really learn from. What do good kitchens utilize? They utilize many chefs communicating, and that for me was my biggest problem. You could see the moment around game 1, game 2 where they just stopped talking to each other, and the double commits became a lot more prevalent, not just in defense but in offense as well. And that's where my second kitchen point comes in. Just because a plate goes bad doesn't mean you can't save it, and I fear that too many times we saw 2 players going for the same play. It breaks down your offensive potential. It almost 9 times out of 10 forces you back unless there's a mistake from the opposition side, I should say. And final point, never let your food go cold. Never ever leave your defense open. Never ever let the ball out of your sight, because as soon as you do, the opposition, especially one as pacey as UAB Gold, they're gonna punish you.
Oh, and they absolutely did. I still think to that last goal, I think in game number 1 with 5 seconds remaining, that was absolutely Cumberland Phoenix leaving their food cold. A golden opportunity that UAB Gold took up. I am hungry after that explanation, Relic. And, you know, despite the fact that it felt like UAB Gold were given a lot of opportunities on a silver platter, they are absolutely eating up the competition. That is 3 sweeps in a row for UAB Gold if you're counting the score sheets on a momentous streak here, Relic, in NECC.
Their form is positively searing, and unfortunately, the searing streak here at the NECC is coming to an end for yourself, Pyro J, or Pyro J searing. Oh, it all comes together, doesn't it? Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to cast with you again. Unfortunately for the audience, you're stuck with me for a little bit, but I'm going to be joined by my good friend Galgan on the other side of this when King's College Gold take on the New Jersey City Gothic Knights. We'll see you then after this.
you
Week 6 of Rocket League continues here on NECC. Pyro J has made his way out of the building, but entering from stage left, it's Mr. Galgan, joining myself, Relic. Galgan, first of all, hope you're well, recovering from a recent illness, but it's lovely to have you alongside me, and a couple more series of emergence action on the docket.
Of course, the best remedy, honestly, to start feeling better is Emergence Rocket League on a Friday night with Relic by my side, so I'm not worried at all. I've got the spooky house behind me as well due to Halloween weekend, and hopefully these teams can provide some entertainment and save me from the looming monsters that are probably waiting right behind me. Honestly, I'm a little scared, so I think we should probably get moving towards those rosters.
I don't know which one. I think the purple's probably the appropriate vibe to try and match you on this front. And let us have a little look at these teams. We've got some gold and we've got some Gothics in the building. Starting off with the NJCU Gothic Knights, the New Jersey City University. The Appalachia region, by the way. Emergence once again, as we've already covered. You'll see there Welson, Lenoco, and Cross. But this team, alongside their opponents, the King's College Gold Galgan, they've got more than 3 players, and it looks like they may be utilizing that full roster.
And that's always a highly contested point, whether or not that's going to be the right move going forward. If you click early on in the series, you may not want to make that switch overall, but you could also opt for the substitution, try and get everybody some playing time and see how you fare in that regard. But as we head over to our second roster here for this matchup, facing off against NJCU, it will be King's College Gold. You see our 3 presumed starters to be Juicy, Shot by a Penguin, very interesting name there, and Numpty Mango. We've got 2 sophomores and a junior. Criminal Justice and Sociology. Honestly, if someone was shot by a penguin, I would want this player to defend me in court from any wrongdoing. I would feel pretty confident in their capable hands.
I gotta say, I'd never realized that King's College Gold's mascot was Prince John from the old Robin Hood film, the one where he's a fox.
Right.
It's a striking resemblance, really. But certainly striking is something that this team is pretty good at doing as well. Their record speaks for itself. Apart from a loss in week 1, they have been on a right tear. 3 3-0 sweeps, a 3-1 victory in week 4 against Marywood. That's going up against the 3-2 record of the Gothic Knights. So you got one team in great form on the bounce, 4 unbeaten. The other side a little bit more topsy-turvy. They've won one of their last 2. They've also lost one of their last 2. And hey, guess what? They were both sweeps, Galgan.
This is the statement series, though, for them to try and bounce back NJCU and get off on the right foot.
No!
But this opportunity, a little bit of teammate-friendly fire blocking that one aside. Early look goes away there and back down the other side of the pitch.
Yeah, Wilson there rocking the Brazilian flag. He is indeed the Brazilian god, so says himself. It'll be interesting to see if he's a little more Fred or a bit more Ronaldinho as stepping into the midfield. Lenoco's going to block this offensive trail. Nice block as well from Wilson as onto the attack is Numpty here with the KCG. 4 minutes left on the clock and no scores yet.
And it's only slightly perturbed me that the gold side is playing against the golden-colored NJCU, but I'll get over it in
For the second time today, by the way.
Yeah, it truly is rather unfortunate, but we must live with the consequences of our own color choices here. King's College Gold, they had a pretty solid opening minute, and they haven't really let their foot off the accelerator just yet.
Yeah, both sides trying so desperately to get a purchase in this game, and both actually finding bits of success. It's a bit of a slobber knocker sort of a game where we're just waiting for that first major punch to land. That was a bit of a weak fiddle of a punch, but it's again sort of glazed. Oh no, there's no glazing there. There's no glazing this mistake, Galgan. Wilson gets the first, but he didn't exactly mean it.
Oh dear, and on both sides of the pitch here, King's College just have to get someone faster to the ball in the second position, but it's not anything to regret too soon. Plenty of time on the clock for King's College to make the comeback. They have to start thinking, though. They've let NJCU in fairly early with a weaker clear. Gonna stand a bit more of a defensive front to try and block those opportunities away and keep this a close game.
Oh, what a dunk! Oh, Wilson! I mean, look, the first goal, little bit of luck involved. This is great proactiveness. Reads that clearance to a T. And that's just angles, baby. That's heading into the back of the net 2-0.
And I apologize, that caught me completely off guard. Was not expecting that in any way. Wilson, the largest brain here currently. The read on lock, now going to the back wall yet again to set up another opportunity. The double to the far side is just too far wide, but NJCU, they have come out swinging. You talked about the power of the punches early on, and all of a sudden those gloves are starting to hit for NJCU.
His name is Mateus Silveira Guzmão. And he is on fire. Cross. He is most certainly not Brazilian with a name like Michael Cross, but repping that Team Secret Brasilia livery and just pouncing upon another mistake. There were 2 players in net. It didn't matter. The placement was just too good. The Gothic Knights are running away with it.
It goes to show you how powerful that shot placement can be in the Emergence divisions, though, and players that have that level of confidence exuded upon the pitch to get to the ball in a timely manner and put it into a threatening position. It means all the world a difference here. King's College looking for the first, though, forced upon the defense. Numpty Mango gets him on the board.
That's a fruitful slice of luck, one might say. It's just Cross getting a little bit desperate on the way back, seeing trouble emerging, but it's the ricochet off his car that makes the angle into the back of the net possible. It's a lifeline, albeit a slim one, for King's College Gold.
I will say, the 3 goals that we've seen past the first soft clear towards the post have all been very angularly focused. Lanoko, though, going to answer back for NJCU off the side wall. What a touch on the second opportunity to bounce that one back down towards the far side where no defense was present, and a solid 4th for NJCU.
You talk of angles, there are plenty of angles to look at that from. None of it make it any more pretty for the KCG defense just when they got back into the game. Those hopes have been pretty much snuffed out. It's a lovely double touch off the side wall here from Lanoko. Welson chasing, no surprise there. Cross, that's going to go wide, just looking to play for a bit of time now. New Jersey here as they're around the corner once again through Wilson. Not exactly the greatest clearance from Numpty Mango, but once again, New Jersey quite happy to just retain that possession. They've already got 3 goals to the good.
And they still want more. Oftentimes in Game 1 of the series, we'll see teams sit back a little bit, and Game 2 will become the real barn burner back and forth of offensive opportunities. But NJCU, they're not content with a 3-goal lead. They want as much as they can get, and with all 3 players firing on all available cylinders, far be it from us to tell them to stop. Lanoko picks up the feed from the back wall and increases the lead.
This team's on 3-2, by the way. This is the team that is not on a 4-winning streak. They just can't stop scoring. NJCU so impressed. 93 seconds left. It's a case of how many, not if they're going to win or not now.
For King's College, on the other side, 90 seconds to try and solve as many questions in the playbook as possible. NJCU, a triple threat to be sure. Lanoko going to the back wall yet again, and you can see how much space they're generating for each other. So many close plays to the goal line as well. Make it incredibly difficult for the defense to get a solid footing there in their own zone.
What is that?
Wilson, you're dancing around the ball like it's nothing, and it's in the back of the net.
We've got to give a big shout out to Cross here, who removes that last keeper. I don't even know what to call this. I think Wilson had a general idea in his head, but even he didn't know how he was going to execute it. My word. He is Brazilian. We are on the precipice of the fabled Brazil. He's got 65 seconds to achieve it.
I will say, it almost makes me think of a Doomsy dish, but you've slipped and you're just about to let all the food fall off the plate before miraculously saving it and landing in a split with everything displayed for all to see. Wilson nearly cements that Brazilian scoreline you talked about, but the ball played back towards NJCU's half, and you could tell they're not too keen to let it linger around there for very long.
It's been, I wouldn't say an embarrassment, but it's definitely been a wake-up call as to the offensive potential of New Jersey here. Trying to deny that Brazil now with potentially a second goal. A combination play. Good defense at the near post from Wilson. Lanoko up and away. Wilson steps in, and that's some great communication. Okay, a shot is fired away, but it's going wide. It's not very dangerous for the moment, at least. Another one back into the center here. Dealt well with by Wilson. What a breakout game for him. Been so impressed. He's everywhere.
And with 13 to play, NJCU continue the domination here in game number 1. Content to leave it. It's so many opportunities. Just right at that post, it's so close. They are a thin margin away from notching that 7th, but 5 will be good enough. They'll have to settle here unless they launch it all the way down, as Lenoco attempts to do. Ball hits the ground, however, and NJCU, a comfortable, to say the least, game 1 victory.
Comfortable is right. I don't think there was a single moment once that second goal went in for New Jersey where we were thinking, yeah, you know, they've got a good chance to get back into this, despite the fact that King's College do end up scoring another goal. It was so quickly negated that why would we believe that they would ever get back into that game? Just seemed that as soon as the foot came down, it was never being wrestled back up.
And for NJCU, we talked about the record 3-2, and that's been a bit of a throw-off here, because if you look back to the week 1 result, it's a 5-game series, a full 5-game series against Marywood, who are close in the table. I believe they are neck and neck with NJCU currently, and the sweep loss in week 4 is against Waynesburg, who populate the very top of this Emergence Appalachia table. So you have to weigh those 2 losses with the fact that they are high-quality opponents. They're close in the table to Marywood and close in the series in that finish, so it may not be all indicative of the power that this team has. For King's College Gold, on the other side, this is a chance to establish yourselves as one of those top-tier teams in this division. You've got to be able to get this series win in order to make that statement.
Oh, I can hear the people complaining about Swiss stages and having a real ball with this one. Like, oh, how can they be on 3-2 when they're this good? It's just about who you play. They've played some of the best in this division, the Gothic Knights. Okay, they've lost, but look at how well they're playing here. I certainly hope for their sakes that they continue to display those good qualities, certainly as KCG on the attack early doors here in game number 2 as we head to the Forbidden Temple. A loose ball is going to be dealt with kind of by Lenoco. He's got backup, though, in the form of Wilson. This should be a clear transition out.
Oh, KCG, though. Good midfield presence, it would appear. Not a force to be taken lightly either. We don't want to be sleeping on this King's College team. They've got the ability to make miraculous plays happen, but they've got to nail down on the pressure that NJCU creates from that middle of the field. Establish a pressure of your own from King's College and make sure that these opportunities don't sneak their way through, because we've seen as soon as this ball hits the back wall for NJCU on the offensive push, they've got a plethora of ways to score it on near impossible angles.
And King's College are going to be looking at this situation thinking, let's just keep it at 0-0 for the moment. If we can find our way further up the pitch, then sure, okay, let's have a go. But double commits like that are not going to help their cause. The longer that they keep NJ pegged at 0-0, the longer that NJ are going to be looking and getting a little bit more desperate in the offense, I feel. As long as they can hold their nerve here, King's College, there might be hope yet.
It could make them antsy very well, considering how many goals they wanted to lead by in game number 1. We're not satisfied with any particular comfortable lead there, but King's College doing a solid job here. Ball enters their zone, a tough one to handle. Cross is up early to try and deflect away. It's played out to the side. Lenoco now has time and space to get to it. Soft touch from Numpty Mango, but coming through is Juicy. 1-2-3 passing play cut off though by Wilson, who is playing out through the exit of the zone. That presence is what's giving NJCU so much pressure and so much stability on their own pushes.
King's College Gold up against the ropes, but finally a breakout into the orange half. That's great passing field from Numpty Mango, but they're a little bit slow in their transitions so far, Gaugan. I'd like to see a little bit more pace, a little bit more bravery heading into the final third area, because that was way too long in New Jersey. Their defense is pretty good themselves.
Oh, opportunity again. Numpty Mango nearly taking your words to heart, and shot by a Penguin now looking for a self-dish off the back wall. Does not come to fruition, but Mango has an opportunity and does not get the juice required behind that ball to get it moving, so transition play breaks out, and Wilson is picked off early. King's College Gold, now they're starting to pick up the pace of play a little bit, but you've got to be careful to bring the ball with you on those pushes, because NJCU looking to answer right back. Wilson to the back wall. This one left open to Lenoco, looking for a pass out to Cross, but does not connect on the redirect, and both teams being stymied here with about 2 to play.
Yeah, you had the good materials there in place to fashion a good counterattack, but just a little bit too eager there, Numpty Mango, to get a touch on the ball rather than slowing down and thinking about it a little bit better. That's loose possession, but Juicy going to throw it over to the side, and that's a lovely transition out into the middle. I hear a demo, I don't know for who. That's a miss from Lenoco, and, well, that is unfortunately the desperation of wanting to score a goal, but wanting to score it a little bit too quickly for the ball's liking.
Always too difficult, though, to know exactly when your opponent is going to miss, when the expectation is the clear or some sort of touch that you force upon them and they don't make it at all. And you've got to adjust when you're already in the air. It can be near impossible, but here goes King College back the other way, and they've crossed up upon each other. The double is going to kill some of the momentum, but shot by a Penguin comes through to the back wall yet again, and all of a sudden, these looks are starting to feel better for King's College, but again, second man presence needs to step it up.
I'm not going to be harsh and say that you need to touch some grass, but please talk to each other. That was another great opportunity, completely shut down by yourselves. King's College, for my money, they've had the better opportunities, but you just know that when no opportunities are taken, that's when the Gothic Knights are going to strike.
They've got to watch those loose possession exchanges, though, in the middle of the pitch as well. They've done it a couple of times on the defensive side. This one should be a pretty open ball for Mango to try and shoot. Is blocked away, but it ends up back in the center, and the follow-up not there, so Juicy will have to stand the test. Slow touch to the corner, sets up for another one, but a beautiful second effort by Juicy. Slow clear finally comes through, though, launched to the corner. 40 seconds to go here, Relic, and King's College better chance than ever to equalize.
Great calm and patience on that near post, and it effectively saves his entire team a goal. 30 seconds left, overtime more likely than not at this stage, as Numpty Mango, not much that he knew about that one, but gets the second touch. Juicy going to throw it to the backboard here. Ricochets back out, once again hitting the backboard. There's shot by a Penguin, meeting in the middle. Juicy trying to go underneath Welson, but he gets a piece of it.
I almost feel like there was a jinx in the inverse way, in the way that I said that the barn burner usually comes in game 2, but we've had an absolute scoreless sheet until 5 seconds to go. It's another massive clear off the side wall, hits the center of the target, and NJCU on top late in game 2.
You can't see it yet, chap. I am shaking my head as the prophecy comes true. You don't take your chances against a team that has scored 5-6 against you already. You're gonna pay for it. And yes, it's an unlucky ricochet. Yes, you were trying to throw the Hail Mary to get yourself a goal, but you could have had 1 or 2 before that point. Talk to each other, please.
It really does sting, and credit where credit is due, right? NJCU are obviously doing what they can to not only provide the aforementioned midfield presence, but defensive zone presence to block King's College out of several of those opportunities. But you were right, earlier on in game 2, if I can directly quote you here, you were saying that you smelled a demo, which I think I'll have to ask you after the match how a demo smells, because that would be kind of interesting. But besides the point, I think that those opportunities, like you mentioned, are ones that King's College need to grab by the horns and run all the way to the races with. The fact that they weren't able to do that here is concerning, but the opportunities are still present, and there are still games in the series to be played.
You don't need to ask me after the series. I can just tell you now, smells like a burned radiator. Maybe I should get that checked. Okay. Anyway, I think that we've got to definitely commend the New Jersey Knights here, because you're absolutely right. They did the task that was asked of them. They had a much more difficult game here, and yet, okay, you could look at King's College, and sure, they should have had better opportunities directly on net rather than the sort of like pre-phase, which was good up until a certain point, but they still defended well. And when that chance came for them to get something on target, okay, it wasn't exactly directly on target, but they worked the angles games. The clearance was strong, the clearance was true, the clearance ended up in a goal, and now they're looking to start game 3 off with a bang. Shot by a Penguin denies it.
And King's College, as much as we need to see them move on offense, which it might have just done, but it's gone wide. Shot by a Penguin. Opening opportunity rings off the woodwork, and they're going to want that one back like the ones before it. But again, no time to dwell on the past. The present is here and now. Top corner blocked aside, and both teams struggling to squeak it past the posts.
Okay, at least on this occasion, it should have been 1-1. Both of those shots deserve to be on target. They weren't. And so we are as we should be, 0-0 or indeed 1-1. And I'm sure the King's College are going to be wiping some sweat off the brow there because they're playing as well as they ever have done. They know that it was a bit of a freak moment that lost them game number 2. Otherwise, it would have been a certain overtime. Got to keep that faith, got to keep that confidence here. Otherwise, they're going to be swept out the series.
Always interesting to think about that, though. The theory of a tied game, regardless of the scoreline and how much it weighs on the players. Another one, but Wilson stands strong in the Octane Juicy. Tough one to finish with speed right in front of Wilson's Octane. Not very many places to shoot, but unfortunately, the one and only available option was the path of most resistance, and Wilson is trying to be a nuisance on the other side.
Gets a bump on shot. Penguin goes for the back pass. Lenoco ready to receive and does so kindly. Cross not able to complete the clearance, however. Left to Lenoco. Actually ends up with Cross. Nice redirect and a nice bit of reaction timing from shot by a Penguin. Numpty Mango crushing this off his own crossbar to get it out into the midfield. Still not reaching that midfield line, however. Juicy wants to try and do this. Lenoco, that shot's off target and away. It's still not going to reach the line. NJCU continue their offensive rotations, continue their offensive cut-ins, and finally a demo is going to help them into the other half of the pitch.
Oh, this one. Tricky lob to be dealt with. Demolition comes through as well, but I believe it rings right off of that near post. Penguin tries to put it back, but Wilson responds, and NJCU, again, doing such a solid job of cutting off the passing lane and making sure that King's College can't string together 2 or 3 successive touches between teammates, even if they were able to look for each other here. The avenues that they have to find the goals are slim and unrewarding here for King's College.
Cross infield looking for Wilson on target. What another great save, this time from shot by a Penguin. That's a good clearance as well. Goes down to chase it. Really harrying Cross here, and that's a lovely bit of work from Wilson to bail his teammate out of trouble. Hits the backboard, away it goes. Shot by a Penguin rotates round. That's going towards the net. Cross going to help it on his way, but perhaps a little bit too much mustard.
And these are the sequences where King's College really need to establish themselves. Penguin, nice early challenge. 2 will go for NJCU. Called off is Lenoco. And Wilson cheating up in the corner, looking for more. This one bumped down. No collision just yet, but Juicy doesn't find the ball either. So Penguin forced to play it out to the sidewall. It's not a concession of possession. Rather, it is a clear down the length of the pitch. And King's College get their first lead of the series.
Finally, they catch out the rotation. Numpty Mango sees that third player pushing up a little bit too far. Knows that if they're just able to avoid them and keep it on target, that's a guaranteed goal that you're going home to mum and dad with. That's 1-0 KCG. Now can they hold it?
Less than 2 minutes to defend such a lead. NJCU, how desperate do they get to try and close this out in 3? We don't really expect them to be the team that'll sit back in comfort and know that they have Game 4 or potentially Game 5 if we head there. But King's College, a spark of life has been ignited here on DFH Stadium. Big block, though, on the ceiling from Lenoco. Wilson goes unsuccessful. Cross now collecting at the middle of the field over to the sidewall, looking for Wilson in the center, but over the top goes Mango, and King's College stands strong.
Perhaps we were to expect a little bit more resistance here. King's College, they've only lost the 1 series. That was against LVC Team 0. And even in that series, they managed to pick up 1 game. Oh, but if they want to pick up a game, they're going to have to score another here. Cross with a looping effort.
An absolute stunner to the defenders there, all caught in the box. Mango trying to do his best to get in front of it, but everyone else caught a bit too far forward. That's all it takes. It can be so difficult to change the momentum on a dime like that when you've already expended so many materials just to get to the goal line there as NJCU respond, and you have to think they have more in the tank coming.
At kickoff's beginning, it was 1-1-1. The score 1-1, and there's only 1 minute left on the clock now, already beginning to elapse into the offensive area. It's KCG. That's going to go a little bit high, or is it? Caught on the backboard. Juicy passes to himself, and there is your immediate response.
And I really want to believe this is intentional. It has to be, surely. Juicy takes a slower shot because Cross is lurking on the backboard, and Juicy knows if the shot goes fast, Cross will jump from the back, immediately get the clear, and you'll have most of King's College beat. An easy counterattack will be on the other side for NJCU. Instead, Juicy opts to go slow, picks up the read, calm, cool, and collected, and King's College have a lead.
I repeat the question. Can they hold on? A little bit of a lift. And buying a bit more time. 35 seconds left. Wilson trying to clear it out. Double commit here. Shot by a Penguin. Steps in. There's Cross. Oh, interference run from Wilson, but no one ready to hop onto it like a whippet. Numpty Mango once again just, it's the worksman clearance and a demo to boot as well. Bit of a cross section here, a shot by a penguin in the enemy's colors as well. Maybe sowing a little bit of discord in the ranks. Welson, that's never going to go towards the net, and 10 seconds left now. KCG, Numpty Mango's going to try and run the length of the pitch, manages to get past one, manages to get the block on the second here, shot by a penguin to put it to bed, misses the ball, but the ball misses everyone else. It is a series that continues to game 4.
The most important place for the ball to hit the ground in that situation. You know that NJCU are going to be absolutely reeling to try and find that last second opportunity. Were they given the opportunity to do so? But it is King's College who keep themselves alive in this series. Very solid effort there in game 3. I think what I love seeing the most from this squad is that synergy really come to fruition, because early and often it was NJCU being that triple threat, as I mentioned. That team that is so good at having any one individual player be the striker, be the finisher, go for passing plays, anything. As soon as King's College start to rival that ability, because we know that they're able to, they're at 4-1 so far on the season. As soon as they start doing that more consistently, they bring this series closer and closer into their own control.
And that game 1 seems such a far distance away now, doesn't it? We were looking at that thinking, oh, crikey, is this going to be a bit of a blowout? But look, I say this almost every single broadcast I'm on. Game 1 is called the most anomalous game for a good reason. It's because more often than not, one team's just not ready to fly out the gates. Now we've seen a lot more of a representative King's College performance, I feel. This was great. It was punchy. Yeah, there were a couple of moments where they were riding their luck, but because they rode it well, they were able to counter effectively. Now they've got themselves a game on the board, and who knows what happens next.
Anything could happen here for King's College. Game 4 underway. Welson back to the Fennec this time as well. The Octane not proving fruitful enough, which is an interesting thing as well. The car switch being up 2-0 in the series, but I think that goes a little too far into the placebo. It's the same hitbox anyway, so what difference does it really make at the end of the day, unless we see Welson score another highlight reel goal, which in that case, it'll be all on the car and not on the player at all.
It makes all the difference. You just don't understand Galgan. I mean, shot by a penguin there. Thinks he's now. It's almost gone too deep. He thinks he's working for the enemy team now. That was the opener for KCG, and they're going to be so aggrieved.
That's not even. Oh my goodness! That's back the other way. That's a dive for the crossbar. These teams, neither of them can catch a break in the opening minute. It's been like this all series long, and it's just them warming up. They just need to get a tad bit more accurate within the first 60 seconds, and they'll be golden.
Oh, Welson, that's easily on target. Another big save coming through from Stumpy Mango. Stumpy Mango? That's a very different player entirely. Numpty Mango. There we go. Got the correct. We had the correct fruit, just not the correct insult in front of it, I guess. Juicy to the backboard, and NJCU managed to deal with it.
Whew. This game setting off at a blistering pace here. Cross has launched himself at this clear, but a bit too far distant there. And Welson, the lone defender, in an essential 1-on-3. Cross comes through as the savior, however, played off the sidewall. So such a tricky ball to try and get your hands on here. Both teams have had looks with these sidewall touches and how they are so privy to easily concede possession. Another touch off the back wall, though, cleared away, but not for long. Back and forth we go, Relic. Playing some ping pong here, still with clean sheets.
It feels like just a matter of time before both teams score. Those offensive chops are firing with plenty of creativity, and it's really just the shot accuracy which is letting both teams down at the moment. And even when the shot accuracy is good, the power of the shot isn't there to meet it. So as we're heading towards half-time, this rests on a knife edge. I feel as if the first goal may very well lead to the win of the overall game.
It very well could. Shot by Penguin looking for that first opening goal. Numpty Mango has a bit of space but delays the push, wants to go for the air dribble off the side. Beats one, double potential, but cleared away early and quickly there. Shot by a Penguin going back to the back wall yet again. King's College, good push, but one player is demoed, slows down their efforts. Penguin, though, not phased by it at all, comes back around in the face of two defenders. This ball leaking out towards the near post, and Welson goes for the clear. NJCU certainly playing with a bit of fire here on the defensive side. They've got the possession control that they want, but they're certainly waiting a bit of time before they really enact some pressure.
They had to play well on the defense as well because King's College was stealing all their boost and they couldn't really do much about it. It was slowing down their counter potential so massively that they've had to spend a good 30 to 60 seconds on pure defense, finally getting a steal of their own here down the other sides of the pitch. But they've really got to make these next chances count. They've had fast shots, they've had powerful shots, but they've not necessarily had the shot accuracy that they were finding to a large degree in game number one. That's actually a really good read. But look at these infield passes as well, Galg. I'm really impressed with King's College. They're talking, they're communicating. It's great to see.
They've truly started looking for each other, which is a hallmark of a great team with a lot of fight-back potential here in the face of a necessary reverse sweep, and they are one step of the way there, trying to get that all-important second. Numpty Mango is not connecting with that challenge, so Lenoco will push this to the corners. NJCU look to establish themselves, but a massive challenge there for King's College to win. And again, we go back and forth. Teams looking for that golden goal opportunity with 60 seconds to play. Not connected there. Wilson clears a soft one away.
I know it looks like an obvious clear as we got to watch as Numpty Mango and Shot by a Penguin are going to try and make another goal happen. It's not going to be. It's always risky on the backboard when you're in the emergence division here. It's a real leap of faith, hoping that you're going to be able to reach the ball. And Wilson's got enough confidence to be able to do that at the very least, but his powers have been nullified an awful lot. The individual prowess that we've seen from him, ooh, that ball was lingering, seems to have dissipated quite a lot, and that's great credit to King's College. They're finding ways to cancel him out of the game.
They certainly are. Very nice forward play as well from Penguin there. 20 seconds to go. This ball making its way in, and Penguin, the pressure from end to end all the way through the play, gets the goal and gets the lead for King's College.
That was a bit too much faith in the final defense. I think that really Lenoco should have just put on the brakes hard there and tried to at least spike the ball up, because the momentum's with the attacker and any 50 challenge is going to go in their favor, and it's such a great time to score as well, except Cross, with minimal seconds to work with, finally finds his shooting boots.
Oh, what a fool we were for thinking that this one was over anytime soon. Fantastic reception of that corner pass as well. It takes real discipline to stay up in the air, have that read ready to go. Absolutely emphatic on that punch home. 10 seconds to go though here in regulation. Do we get sent to another overtime here where King's College thought they had the golden ticket to Champions Field? They may need to work a bit harder as the ball hits the ground at 0 seconds, and we go to OT.
Hello, overtime, my sweet mistress. It's great to see you again, and what a barnstormer we may very well be in for. Not a great touch from Wilson to start things off. But there you go, that's how it be, and now he's back in defense, looking to defend away, shot by a Penguin on the backboard. This is going to ricochet into the midfield. Juicy's going to be back in time to make the save, has to do it, got limited boost to work with as Lenoco's going straight for net, goes for the double tap! Oh, that's how you end a series!
NJCU, if you want to win your matchup here in the NECC, I don't think there's very many better ways that you could have done it. What a touch from Lenoco, double off of the close back wall, and the NJCU Gothic Knights, they avoid that Champions Field spot. It is a 4-game victory for them, truly proving to us here why they are more than deserving of that now 4-2 record, taking down King's College and knocking them down a peg here, letting them know that there is tougher competition in this Emergence Appalachia roster.
I'm glad that we got to see the stats at the end there, Galgan, because you will have noticed hardly any saves. Despite a lot of shots for both sides, there was only 3 for one side and 1 for the other, and that really does speak to the problem of both these teams in that they need to score or get more shots on target more consistently. I think that game 1 was an anomaly because we saw the Knights hitting all of their shots, basically. That's the sort of score output that they should be having based on their really good offensive rotations. Just gotta tweak the shot counter a little bit more to the left and a little bit more to the right, and they should be fine. But I think it's a real shame for King's College as well. They really clawed their way back into that series with effectiveness, and it's just the fine margins at the end of that game number 4, which has led to them losing a goal immediately after they score, and then losing in overtime as well. A real shame.
Yeah, this is a series that King's College can't be too disappointed in, especially when you consider the staggering defeat that they faced in Game 1 and the resolve to come back from this and make this an entertaining series, regardless of the fact that it didn't get to Game 5. They have plenty to talk about, both good and bad, from this series. I don't think they should be too worried about the outcome. They are now on level footing as well with NJCU, so they will very much be looking forward to a potential rematch, or perhaps just, scrimming with each other or just playing each other for fun. I would be very interested to see that outcome as well, because I feel like if King's College gets off to a hotter start, we get a much, much more fiery series.
Couldn't agree more. Oh, fire's been the theme of today with pyro and searing, but those explosive series are going to come to the end after our final series of the day, as the Central Methodist Eagles go up against Baker University. It's in the oven. We'll see you on the other side of this cake. Oh, we had to shorten the oven timer on that one, as both teams in our final series of the day are raring and ready to go in the NECC Rocket League week number 6. Myself, Relic, joined by Galgan. Central Methodist Eagles versus Baker University. Galgan, should we get straight into the lineups, perhaps?
I think we should. Honestly, productive university students on a Friday night is a very unheard of thing. So I think we need to take this momentum when we have it. Central Methodist Eagles are the first roster to check out. We've got Phantom, Adams, and Gand. Very interesting punctuation in the names there, but we've got a computer science, communications, and accounting major, all juniors as well. This roster, need to note, they are on 3-1, but the one loss they have is a forfeit to Hastings Crimson. So we expect them to be a fairly strong side, having won 9 of the available 9 games that they have played thus far.
Also, just as just a thing for the record, the Schmidt, one of their substitutes, their interesting fact is that they're starving and broke. Someone send this man help, please. As we move over to Baker University, maybe they can help on their 2-3 record. Now, whereas a lot of teams we've seen, they're on a bit of a hot streak. They're on a winning streak. These guys have struggled. After a sweep in week 3, they lost 2-3 against Hastings Crimson and lost 3-1 against Cumberland's Maroon team, of course, one of the other color versions of the Cumberland Phoenix teams that we saw earlier in the evening. You've got KMBC, you've got Dub Tizzle, and you've got Cumby Boy there. We got Dub Tizzle on the Baker bowling team, by the way, but are they going to find a strike here in this final series?
Well, I was going to say, if the Schmidt is in desperate need of some food, who better to call up than Dub Tizzle, who's serving up turkeys all the time on that bowling team? Surely a fantastic roller of the 3-pronged sphere. I don't think that's really what you could call a bowling ball. It's kind of the inverse of prongs now that I think about it. But enough about bowling. We've got a perfectly spherical and no hole containing ball to bat around on the pitch here between these two squads in very short time.
From Appalachia to the Heartland, two teams who, yeah, they've kind of gone their separate ways in regards to form. I think it's a really good point picking up on the Eagles and their very strange season so far. 3-0 sweep, forfeit. 3-0 sweep, bye. 3-0 sweep. They're not forfeiting, and they're not buying this one, so is their first natural loss on the cards? We'll wait and see as we're into our first game.
Oh, they've immediately tested, though, and this is making me think that it's a squad that you really don't want to be reckoning with here, because on the side of Baker University as well, their 2 wins are against the 2 teams that are below them, the only 2 teams below them on the table thus far. So yet to prove themselves against the tougher competition. Better late than never here against the Eagles to get that done exactly, but early indications here, Relic, within the first 30 seconds, you can already tell that close possession and ball control is a specialty of the Eagles.
Most certainly. They stride forward once again, closing down Cumby Boy. And a little bit, I love this touch from Dub Tizzle. Completely sells a fake to the onrushing defender and allows his team to move forward as well. Strong defense to the side there from Adams. And Phantom throws it into the midfield for Gan to find a shot. That's not going to be on target. Dub Tizzle avoids a demolition with his teammate taken out of the equation. Nice round the corner. Underneath the crossbar. Hits the post as well. Finally put home. It's Adams.
Such a strong push here from the Eagles as well. They realize they have so much space and just continue to put pressure onto the ball and force Baker back farther and farther into their defensive half to guard against the inevitable there. First goal falls just past the first minute of play for the Central Methodist Eagles. You have a feeling more is on the way, but Baker University certainly going to do whatever it takes to try and get in the way of those passing lanes, because the Eagles have shown a proficiency here early.
Oh, nice demo run, and that's a real shame that the proper connection wasn't made on it from Gan. Phantom, oh, what a save! That's going to hit the post. Oh, and what another save! This is a true hero in the making. KMBC 9 News, and down the other side, no headline acts on this occasion.
It's like they never go away, though. They get the ball deep onto the goal line, and you try to swat the Eagles away, but they are persistent in clawing that opportunity from the hands and the possession of the defense, whatever Baker tries to do. So certainly Central Methodist looking for more of that pressure. Baker trying to buy some space out. KMBC leaves this to Dub Tizzle, who's looking for more, but the slow play not going to cut it here as Gand comes up on the challenge, tries to push back the other side. Time continuing to tick, though, and getting back to a bit more normalcy here in this match.
I was going to say, Eagles have been playing a little too fast for their own good. It's got a lot of shock value, but once you get into the second halves of games, it's pretty easy to read and understand as long as you've got I guess, the stoutness to remain calm when they're throwing a bunch of shots at you. It can be easier to save than if they took their time. We have reached that halfway mark now, and it is still the Eagles in the ascendancy. That's a great shot, and that is a goal converted, 2-0.
You can tell that this is a squad that feels comfortable with a low-scoring lead, and they want more. They've got it. Phantom launches that one right under the crossbar. Not much better that you could have hit that shot, and the defense forced to watch here. So the Central Methodist Eagles remain, as he said, in the ascendancy. They look as if they are in form early here at the beginning of the series. Best of 5, plenty to play, but halfway through game 1, it is all Eagles, and all Adams just wide of the top corner.
There's still trouble here as they've got a demo as well. That's a great clearance from Cumby Boy, though. Adams out to the midfield. Going to pick up that 100 boost. Looking for Phantom. Oh, he sells both of his teammates short. There was the short layoff, which avoided one. And then he took an extra touch, which avoided the second. Nevertheless, they still have that 2-0 lead. And that's all they're going to be looking towards as they enter the final couple minutes.
Baker trying to look to the middle of the pitch here, though. That shooting lane that they're trying to find off the ceiling goes Dub Tizzle, but too late to the follow-up touch. No boost to really expedite that process as Phantom tries to do more of the same on the opposite side. Adams jumps as well, but both miss. So this is a window here for Baker, but they can't get the ball moving fast enough. It's too far airborne for anybody to contest, and the Eagles block yet another one from the midfield. Here goes Adams yet again, has been lethal from the backboard. Gand trying to set up another opportunity. Slow roller. Phantom denied at the crossbar. KMBC 9 News stands tall, but Baker really putting through the wear here. Cumby Boy, big save, but Phantom goes again.
There's almost a little too much thinking going on with Baker University. I feel like there's a lot of communication going on, but it's mixed messages, and maybe the players have just got to have a bit more confidence when they've clearly got a better escape route plan. Phantom, that's an easy put away, probably the easiest goal scored from this Eagles side. It's simply put through the middle by Gand, and Phantom right place, right time to toe poke it home. They've just been such a strong presence all over the pitch, and with 68 seconds left on the clock, it's hard to see a way back into it from Baker University's perspective.
And you mentioned the simple put away there for the Eagles, but not necessarily simple in terms of the angle, but they make it look simple from their mechanical prowess. They are in the right spot at the right time. It takes a lot of poise to be able to do just that. Adams, though, forced into an awkward situation, so now Cumby Boy puts one on. KMBC blocked away by the defense that stands the test of time, and now back the other way goes Phantom to the back wall. Denied there. Very crucial to get up early on that ball. You've got 40 to score 3, and maybe a tall task ahead, but at least you've gotten that clear and tried to get some leeway here.
Oh, I love how much time burning the Eagles are getting to achieve here. That's a hat trick for Phantom. Well deserved, beautiful shot placement, but it's that touch through the wall that forces all three players of Baker University onto the back foot. Because they're onto the back foot, one mistouch, and that defensive rotation is going to look like it was born yesterday. They're not even crawling, and CM Eagles have got game 1 locked down.
Yeah, it's not even just being put on the back foot. It's the back foot on that stronger side of the pitch for the attack, where the ball's moving in to the side of the target and every defender is shadowing. There's not enough room in this town for all 6 of them. First one is dribbling on the goal line, and KMBC 9 News, see ya in the goal. First one for Baker.
What's your jingle? And is it singable? Or will it get us the MC8? I'm not entirely sure. I'm glad they got a goal, though, because there were some heroic saves from this player just a little bit earlier in the game. Nice to see him get a goal, but it's all a bit of a consolation prize. It's all a bit of, well, you know, they finally catch CM Eagles out, but they needed to catch them out a few more times. There's actually a great break through the midfield, and if Cumby Boy can get it on target, he actually completely whiffs the ball, and Dub Tizzle makes the situation even worse. Oh, this isn't going to become a 5th goal, is it? Oh, it almost did. It almost did. Oh, they're not done either, CM Eagles. Okay, game's put to bed. 4-1. Dominant. I would go as far as saying, Gaugan, dominant. They just looked leagues ahead in their mechanical prowess and their overall synergy.
I like the realization, though, at that 0-second opportunity that it just went back and forth and both teams had several looks at the target there. It goes to show you, I mean, again, to mention what you brought up at the end of the game, Baker University has windows. They need to jump straight through them, though, and show us that they have the capability to play forward on the opportunity, get in the faces of the Central Methodist Eagles, and make sure they don't have time to set things up, because so many of the goals that we saw came from clean passing opportunities towards the corner, towards the back wall. We know Phantom is comfortable in that zone. We know everybody else, Adams and Gand, are also feeling it, but to be able to shut that down, and then of course on the other side, this is always what we get to with these talking points. There are answers to be found on every side of the pitch here for Baker University, but the point remains. The windows are there, and they are ever so slightly open. It's on to Baker to kick them fully open.
This isn't a series, and we've talked about a lot of series at this point, Galgan. This isn't a series where I'm looking at Baker and thinking, man, there are a lot of big problems with this team, and I don't see a way out for them even throughout the course of the series, because it feels like they've got a bit too much ground to gain in the space of a Rocket League series, which is very fast-paced, and it's over before you think about it. I think they played well. I just feel like the Central Methodist Eagles played so well and to such a high caliber that Baker University didn't have much time to react. Case in point, KMBC's actually moved over to the Dominus GT. Great to see this car out. I'm not exactly sure whether it's going to make him a better player or not, but ultimately they've just got to try and weather the storm here. CM Eagles, much as what we saw with what was that team from before in match number 3, the Gothic Knights. Very much like the Gothic Knights, I feel like they hit their form in game 1, but they got desperate if they were kept out of the net, Galgan. And I get the same impression here from the Eagles. If they're kept at bay, they'll get more and more desperate, and then you've got those windows that you were talking about to jump through for Baker University. They just got to make sure that they take those opportunities when they arrive.
Could not agree more. It's almost akin to just shifting that much farther forward in the chair, getting into the gamer lean, really eating every last bit of that monitor in front of you, and trying so hard to find that goal at the expense of overcommitting. And Baker, obviously they want to find these goals in more neutral settings. They may have just done that. Cumby Boy gets us started. Baker on the board early.
It's as if the prophecy wrote itself. They are all in the offensive half, and by the time they realize that there's a strong clear going towards their net, none of them are in a place to be able to make that save. They're all rotating back far too late, and that is a huge shot in the arm for Baker University.
It is a real constant theme that you get with some teams that do have a perceivably dominant game 1. They start to get so comfortable and lose respect for their opponents to the point where they will push up that far and look for more bodacious opportunities. They don't find it that time around, and Baker punishes them justly. So with that 1-goal disadvantage against the Eagles, back proverbially against the wall, but not necessarily with plenty of time to play. Again, the Eagles, much like NJCU before them, will continue to push until Phantom ties us up.
Cumby Boy is the proverbial rabbit staring straight into the headlights. There was a moment there when he realized, oh no, I'm not in a good position here. And in that moment, he simply had to go in for the challenge. Didn't matter if he hit it or not. It would have been a better position to play than what eventually happened, which was he stuck on the goal line, reversed back, and allowed a very simple Doomsy Dish goal to unfold before him. A real shame.
And drawing that balance, though, is so crucial for these players as they continue to develop their skills, knowing what plays to go for and when. Beautiful touch there to try and get it, but unfortunately, it's hit right into the hands of the Central Methodist Eagles. They respond very quickly for everything that Cumby Boy was able to do there. Just pushed up a bit too far, had a bit too much faith in that clearance.
Unfortunately, it wasn't KMBC's choice whether he pushed up too far, because Dub Tizzle gave him a strong shunt from behind. That was almost a kickoff goal, and that's not the first time that Dub Tizzle has gotten involved in a play where he really didn't need to get involved. In fact, it's now directly hurt his team, although that's it. Oh, Cumby Boy just gets stuck underneath the ball, a bit more forward momentum, and perhaps you've got a chance there. CM Eagles, it's still a winnable game, yes, but more and more mistakes starting to unfurl as those mentals are tested again and again.
We are seeing Baker break into the middle more often here. which is a very good sign for them, starting to get a bit more confident behind the ball. Quick turns, quick touches. KMBC pushing for this in the corner, leaves way here for the follow-up from Cumby Boy. Second touch as well. Beautiful center. KMBC set up. It's a double far side, and it's a goal. Baker tie us up.
Extra. No, not that one. It's KMBC News, and the headline tonight is a wonderful double tap into the far corner. Unsavable, one would argue. That's exactly how you get back into the game, and as long as they just tidy up those individual mistakes here and there, Galgan, I'm telling you, this game too still up for grabs.
Adams on the back wall here. 2 minutes to play and everything to play for here for Baker to bring this series closer and closer. KMBC has a turn opportunity and does make a challenge out of it in the middle of the field. Now Cumby Boy down below, forcing 2 to go for the Eagles, getting a little scrambled on what they want to do to set up for the clearance, forced into these challenges back towards their own zone, feeling pressure that they have not felt before in this series. Baker trying to step up in a big way.
KMBC News going to pick this up through the corner, wins not just 1 but 2 challenges. A bit of a 100 boost steal though is going to really sow some seeds of doubt amongst the Discord. Oh, Adams just floats, awaits the pass that is on its way from Phantom's bosom into the hands of Adams, dropped down the Salt Bay pinch. That's beautifully weighted and an excellent response here as Baker University try and push him back.
Straight from Cirque du Soleil, that image right there, burned into the minds of Baker as they now look for yet another equalizer, but Phantom giving no reprieve to the back wall. Gand tries to set up again. This one blocked aside. It will fall into the hands of the Eagles at the middle of the field, playing with fire a bit to try and get their push started right at the center of the pitch, but they've done so successfully. Here goes Gand yet again as we close in now on the final 60, Relic. It is the Eagles starting to get back into form. They may not have the monstrous lead that they're searching for, but they're certainly playing like they do.
It's a lead nonetheless, and that's all you need to have at the end of a game of Rocket League. This is a nice field pass though, and Cumby Boy doubles his money. 2 goals for him, 3 goals for his team, and they're not gone yet.
They've really been caught as well. Phantom and Gand pushed up to the middle of the field, wanting that pressure that they've had so often, but it leaves Adams stranded on the goal line, and such a tough one to defend against. Baker doing a solid job to keep themselves in line here and keep this game too close. Very reminiscent of what we had in the previous series just a bit ago. Demo on the goal line, final 30 seconds inbound, and Cumby Boy looks to try and storm back for Baker.
Adams, no boost, infield pass. Phantom throws it to the backboard. Here's Gand, wins the challenge over Dub Tizzle, but it ends up going sideways. Phantom wins a challenge of his own, but that's Dub Tizzle out to the midfield, 100 boost steal. And CM Eagles looking for a quick turn here. Dub Tizzle, some covering runs, perhaps leaving it a little bit too many times. Baker University don't punish as we now head towards overtime territory. It's Adams, good challenge from Dub Tizzle. Phantom back into the dangerous area. KMBC gets a piece of it. Adams, that's a sweet flick up, but KMBC not looking to spike it, but he's going to hit the floor anyway. 3-3, I should say, but we're heading to OT.
The Eagles, a little bit of a task set ahead of them to preserve this 2-0 series lead that they are searching for. Baker University certainly seeming to be in a stronger form this time around as KMBC goes to the back wall. I want both of these squads to be very careful of these initial touches because it can leave wide open gaps like that. Gand will take it home 18 seconds into extra time and secure Central Methodist with a 2-0 series lead.
Yeah, the tail was up from between their legs. They ran out into the road. They didn't look left or right, Galgan. The bus went straight headfirst into their side. And unfortunately, that sort of mistake is going to cost you at this level. CM Eagles bide their time, really struggled defensively, but still found the goals to be able to overwhelm their opponents, and they head on to match point.
And I think what really ended up hurting the Baker University side in that specific game too, obviously Central Methodist, you like that they were able to push for those goals, eventually winning it in overtime. They had to do a lot of work to do so, but Baker gave them a bit too much of an affordance on the back wall, because oftentimes what you'll see from these emergence teams is they'll allow the ball to ricochet off the back, off the corner, off the sidewall, and hope that they have the read. More often than not, they are in the right area. But we've learned now that the Central Methodist Eagles are a team that are confident enough to play off of that backboard rebound, get there first, get there emphatically, and take a shot on target. So for Baker University, they've got to be just a tiny bit more proactive about those backboard clears. If they can get them moving that much faster, they will block out, honestly, at least half of the Eagles' offensive chances.
And look, they've already done half the work in the midfield. I was literally going to pick up on the point that they've been very proactive on that midfield line. It's why they found so much more possession overall. It's why they've been able to find so much success in their final third. And it's because they are meeting these challenges or these drives before they create or generate any sort of threat. But you're absolutely spot on. Because they don't have that same sort of proactiveness in their own third, they're leaving a lot of these shot opportunities down to chance more than taking the situation, the scenario into their own hands and saying, like for that example, when I think it was Cumbie Boy on the line, when he had an opportunity to just keep on swinging around and meet the challenge head on. Okay, it's still a risky play, but you're better placed there than just reversing onto the line and allowing a free shot on net. Heading into game 3, CM Eagles, for me, Galgan a little bit too strong, but we'll wait and see. Baker University might have something else up their sleeve.
Oh, well, if Adams has anything to say about it, I think all of the words have been said and then some. Starts off the touch as well. It's Gand launching it, I believe, off the kickoff and right under the crossbar. The Central Methodist Eagles have gotten one of the quickest leads we've seen tonight in truly emphatic fashion.
And he's been so strong in the air all night, Adams. Every single time we see him up there, he usually finds the connection, and he usually finds a very good shot on target. Now it's Phantom's turn, and he ghosts into a 2-0 lead.
Everyone eats here, gets a little bit of a piece of the pie. Phantom been so proficient here off of the side as well. Had Gand lurking and waiting against the shadow defender, but it did not matter. Touch was strong enough. It's only taken 16 seconds, and the Eagles are looking for a much more convincing way to try and close this one out.
I was asking if there's anything further up the Baker University sleeves. Well, the hoodie has been torn off, and the CM Eagles believe that they have found nothing to be afraid of so far. Infield, that's not going to get far. Adams stops it before it hits a dangerous area. He misses this, however, but Phantom's there to step in and help his buddy out. Round the corner, there's Gand, and it's up against the crossbar and away.
They've got an opportunity now to push this with Too Strong on the clear, but look who is dancing around every single Baker University player. Who other than Phantom, the goal-scoring aficionado of this series, gets a third for the Eagles.
I fear that the yeast hasn't been put in because they're sinking, they're not rising. The oven is still on though, the pressure cooker continues to excel as CM Eagles 3-0 lead, and there's less than 1 minute elapsed on the clock. It is getting into dangerous territory as they're looking for number 4. That's what they're not going to find, but only thanks to the heroics of Cumbie Boy.
Big save though, and they've got to move it, but KMBC lets that one slip, and Phantom will secure the hat trick off of the slow rolling pass. Gand doing everything here to beat 2 in one go, and with the third out of the equation, KMBC can only watch that one hit the back.
A hat-trick in less than a minute. Baker University playing like they've already been beaten. Kickoff goals, especially straight off the rip, are so demoralizing, yes, but you've got to still believe in your own abilities. Oh, they look at all sorts. They look at 6s and 7s. They look at 8s and 9s. I'm losing count of how many things are falling out of the Baker University mobile.
They've got time to try and figure this out, but all is working against them here as the Eagles notch a 5th. It is Gand to get yet another slow one, and this has been the Eagles playstyle all evening long. These confusing drives, just getting the defense in an absolute twirl in their own zone, and Baker has to play forward on that opportunity if they want any hope. They've already lost the sleeve, but now they've got to turn their jeans into jorts and hope that they're hiding something under there.
I tell you what, they've got 2.5 minutes, 5 goals. That's what the CM Eagles are able to do. You make that 6 goals. 2.5 minutes, Galgan, 6 goals. if the CM Eagles are able to score that many in 6 minutes, there is nothing to say that Baker University can't do it themselves. The problem is, do they want to do it at this stage? This is looking like a team that has lost all of the will to defend properly, to rotate properly. It just looks as if they're trying to make something out of nothing. And I'm sorry, but in Rocket League, that is exclusively locked out to the top players of our esport.
Situations like this, though, are always so difficult, almost as if they were a double-edged sword, because for as much ground as Baker University can try and grab and give themselves a window in to score a first, a second, or more, they need the Eagles to be making mistakes at this point, because we haven't seen enough opportunities fall through in the 3-on-3 neutral game for Baker in order to convince us now that they'll be able to score 6 against the run of play, and with inaccuracy such as that, it gets tougher and tougher to see the way in.
A miss followed up by a shot, but unfortunately it goes wide, and you were almost betting on Gan to put that one away as Adams continues this drive forward. Baker University, well, what do you even say? It's been a decent series. It's been a close series, but it looks like a series that might end with a whimper and indeed a bang, depending on what fan you currently sit on.
We've got to give credit regardless. Baker forcing the second game of this series to overtime as well, but the Eagles came out with the superior adjustments in their run of plays. Gand will go up looking for a 7th, denied at the top corner. Adams as well blocked away, and a 3-on-1, better opportunity than ever to try and get that first goal on the way, but Phantom will block out instead. Baker starting to look like they've got some clears pieced together, but they just want some more time, some more opportunities, 2 or 3 shots in a single go here to try and get themselves on the board.
That was the first mistake from the Eagles this game. Wasn't punished. Wasn't even close to being punished. And in fact, they've just turned it right around. And the ball getting perilously close to the shielding between the posts there. Phantom finds a way through the defense yet again. And really, this has been the story of game number 3 for me, Galgan. It has been so easy to find gaps in their defensive rotation. Baker University, listen, I realize they're taking the sleeves off and they're turning their jeans into jorts, but there are too many holes. This isn't the early 2000s.
Oh, such a solid opportunity, though, and with 60 seconds to play, they've still got to look really solid.
Surely.
Block there, and there's Dub Tizzle to punch it home. They have the resolve to stick through this game until the bitter end there. KMBC, beautiful resilience to get that second touch.
Sells out the tickets for 2 people. And with that double commit, it's only Adams to deal with. And he does deal with him. I think it was a little bit inadvertent there. But nevertheless, we've set up the Brazil.
Indeed, we have 50 seconds to go. Will it be Baker to go down fighting here? Certainly they have, regardless of the results. They've done well to try and find their way through an Eagles squad to put themselves up by 6 early, and there is the 7th to fall. When a team gets this comfortable, you've got to feel that the goal is coming.
And it's such an easy backboard hit. KMBC doesn't know what to do with the information being thrown at him. You got Phantom, who's in theory going to make a touch, but doesn't actually. Adams was waiting for the waterfall pass from himself, by the way. Eagles had this one sewn up within the first minute, and they're really starting to show that with the scoreline.
30 seconds. Final 30 seconds of the series as we will not solve this goal differential in that small amount of time. But for Baker, lots to look back on this series. Can't be too disappointed in their performance as they know the Eagles are strong. They have not dropped an individual game thus far this season. They will continue that trend, advancing to 12-0 in game differential of games that they have played. Technically 12-3 by virtue of the forfeit, but that's all semantics to be debated at a later point. The Central Methodist Eagles move on to 4-1, an emphatic 3-0 sweep over Baker University here in Week 6 of NECC action as the ball hits the ground and the Eagles are confirmed the series victor.
And for Baker University, the series score lines get worse and worse from 3-2 to 3-1 to now being 3-0 swept. If there was one thing that I would go away and work on over the next week, and it's possibly the most difficult thing to work on, it's your mentals inside a series, because it was so evident that once that first goal went in game number 3, that was kind of it. All ideas of keeping your heads and staying responsible and staying alert to all of the things that we know and they know the Eagles can do, it just never materialized. And that's a real shame, because they built so much of a good platform to build off in game number 2. It's just sometimes the tides go against you, and it feels like right now, if you're a Baker University fan, it's rough seas out there, and unfortunately you're stuck below the waves.
I have to mention the positives, though, for Baker. They really did do a solid job when they were on their mark of establishing that midfield presence, looking for challenges, and blocking away Central Methodist Eagles in any way that they could. Obviously, the Eagles very proficient in the air to try and get around those opportunities. But I think if you're in the position of someone on the Baker roster and you want to look for how to move forward from this, we understood that when the Eagles had a low lead or no lead at all, they played a lot farther forward, they were a lot more aggressive, and they left those gaps open. Here in game 3, when the Eagles led by 6, they sat back and they didn't give you those gaps. So it's those moments where teams like the Eagles give you the gap to break through that you've got to try and get on their case about, punch through, and find your opportunities there before you let it slip too far down like we saw in the 3rd game.
I definitely recommend as well, focus your play around KMBC. That guy had some real pop-off moments throughout the series, some excellent saves, was more often than not in the right place to either convert a shot into a goal or to potentially make a goal opportunity something rather than nothing. I feel like there's some communication issues to get through as well, but I do believe that there are the fundamentals there to get out of this rut that they find themselves in, and hopefully get back to winning ways come next week. And next week is unfortunately where you're going to find us, since we've come to the end of our week 6 action here on NECC, but be sure to follow all of the socials as per usual, just to get your informations. It's not just Rocket League that we run here, of course, the likes of League of Legends and the sorts. Plenty of action throughout the week, so be sure to follow not just NECC, but here NECC2. Galgan, any final thoughts?
Oh, so many. I mean, I can't wait to do it all again next Friday night with more Emergence action. But again, it's all about improvement with these players, right? They're learning, they're growing, they are increasing their skill actively, and it's always fantastic to watch, no matter the result. So hats off to everybody for competing tonight. I know Friday nights aren't the best for university students, but the fact that they make an effort to get to the PC and give us some entertaining Rocket League is more than we could ever ask for.
Gatago was our observer. Grissom was our producer. Big shout out to Pyro J for earlier, of course. Galgan, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure as always, folks. I've just been Relic, and from all of us here, it's a very warm goodbye.